The clamor for the deregulation of the downstream of the oil and gas sector of the Nigerian economy has been on for so long that it sounds like a broken record. This is because over the years, successive efforts by various government administrations have been unsuccessful in delivering a full deregulated downstream market that should be based on the basic economic principles of demand and supply. Before the disruption of COVID-19 pandemic on global oil production, the downstream oil and gas sector regulators announced the implementation of a deregulated system of the sector, promising that the pricing of petroleum products will now have to follow the dictates of the international oil market pricing mechanism, as well as the forces of demand and supply to determine the retail price of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol. However, analysts say the impact of the full deregulation is no loss on the stakeholders, as the price of fuel will inevitably go up in a fragile economy with weak infrastructure, spiraling inflation, food insecurity as a result of banditry amidst rising unemployment rates, and the masses will be the one to bear the brunt. Joining me now for an in-depth analysis on this, the impact on citizens and of course the Nigerian economy, is a petroleum engineer and also an oil and gas analyst, Mr. Bala Zaka. Thank you very much. It's good to see you and it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to start this way. A lot has played out with regards to deregulation and the oil and gas industry. Take us through your position on all of this and what you think really will be the impact of opening up the downstream.
Thank you very much. When you talk about the Nigerian general oil and gas industry globally, you have the upstream, you have the midstream, and the downstream. In Nigeria, midstream probably does not exist because we don't haul crude oil from the wellheads or Christmas tree, to the refineries because they are not functional.
True.
So the midstream probably does not exist. But when you talk about the upstream, it's very unfortunate. Despite the current price of crude oil today, I can tell you the Nigerian oil and gas industry, especially the upstream, is not doing well. Quote me everywhere, from OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, to the unborn Nigerian baby, that I said today in Nigeria, when you talk about active drilling rigs, Nigeria does not have up to 7 active drilling rigs. Not in the whole country. But I can tell you years back, only one oil company, one operating company will have more than 7 drilling rigs. There was a time when in Nigeria, you will have more than 40 to 50 active drilling rigs. That gives you an idea of what has happened to Nigeria. Nigeria is probably no longer a positive investment destination. Same thing with even exploration campaign. Quote me anywhere. We don't have real exploration campaign activities going on. And at the rate, everybody knows that crude oil is a wasting asset. At the rate you are producing and you are depleting the reservoirs, it is very clear that sooner or later, even the reserve that we are going to be posting will be challenged. Quote me everywhere. Then now the downstream sector.
The problem.
Between you and I, and with due respect, and I stand to have a debate globally with anybody, in the context of Nigeria, if we decide to deregulate or go into full deregulation today and remove subsidy, quote me, there will be political, economic, social, and other kind of anarchies. We are going to experience calamity. Quote me. Because you are talking about a country of probably close to 200 million citizens. You are also having what we call strategic industrial sectors, strategic commercial sectors, and strategic domestic sectors trying to rely on less than 7 megawatts of electricity to provide energy. And you feel people will not recourse to looking for petrol to provide energies for them? People will not recall to looking for diesel to provide energy for them? Sometimes I hear people talking that it was time we deregulated. And even the deregulation we decided to adopt in Nigeria is an import-focused deregulation. In other words, as we are deregulating, like, we will only create speculative investors who will be going out to import. And all those people saying we should deregulate, they have forgotten that our currency is diluted due to depreciation and devaluation. How can we compete? You know, so when I hear people talking like this, I just feel sorry for them. I also hear people saying, no, when you deregulate and you remove subsidy, that subsidy, we have been subsidizing the rich. I can tell you also, most of the Nigerians you think are rich people are actually poor people or debtors. You are not only an energy journalist, you are also a financial journalist. You heard what happened recently with a legendary bank and the insider trading. True. Most of the big men people you think are big men in Nigeria are debtors. They are economic traitors and vampires. And if you say you are deregulating the rich, I mean, you are subsidizing the rich, the simple question I want to ask is this. Those people you, so-called rich people you say are those benefiting, when they buy the petrol, are they buying the petrol to drink? They are actually buying also because they don't have electricity. They are either buying to fuel the car that madam will use with her driver, children will use with their driver, houseboys will use with their drivers. Okay, if you say because of those people, we should increase the price of petroleum products, and those orgas or those rich men sack the drivers, will government provide jobs for those drivers? Another question I hear people saying now is that we are losing crude, our product to the borders, to the porous borders.
Really, I'm worried about that too.
But the answer is very simple, and I don't want to use a word that will sound derogatory. You know, the question is this: if you have security agents that you recruited, you promoted, and some got to the zenith of their ranks on their shoulders with all the peeps, and you still have porous borders, who do you blame? You blame it on how unorganized your country is. You know, you see countries trying to protect their citizens and protecting their borders. So regardless of regional integration or whatever treaties you have, if your borders are porous, we know where to also put the blame. So when I hear people talking like this, I feel sorry for a country where all we need is to get this raw material from the wellhead in Naira, move them to the respective refineries through pipelines or wagons in Naira, refine them in Naira, distribute in Naira, strengthen our local currency, and free ourselves from exchange rate pressures. Do you know what next we need to do? If we have excess, all we need is to construct rail lines across these West African countries that don't even have crude oil. We mount our respective depots there. Before you know, our engineers will be the one manning those depots. Our technicians, our trains and wagons will be the ones supplying them. Is that not how you, in an elementary manner, control regional economy? Look at the gas we have. I mean, we still are suffering from lack of fertilizer. Meanwhile, from gas, you will get ammonia. From ammonia, you will get urea. Yeah. From urea, you are going to get fertilizer. And we are still bereft.
So let me come in. This NNPC has come out to say that spending more than 120 billion monthly seems to be unsustainable. With the reality we have in our hands, COVID-19 and all of this, what do you think? What's the way to go?
See, COVID-19 took the global community by surprise. It shocked you, it shocked me, it shocked global pundits and technocrats. But as we speak today, countries have adjusted. So anybody tying the non-performance of the Nigerian economy as of today to COVID-19, honestly, that person is not a loyal citizen and is not fair to Nigeria. So let's keep COVID-19 out. The key problem is this: whether we like it or not, accepting to import distillates was a wrong decision, a wrong policy, and was on the wrong track. The thing about being on the wrong track is even if you have gone 1 million miles, come back and retrace your strategy. There is no shame. We fail exams, we repeat, we do everything. But the track we have been is the wrong track. So anybody who ties anything to COVID-19 and whatever is wrong. It is not because of COVID-19 that we haven't passed the petroleum industry bill into law. Everybody knew that.
Interest.
It is purely political interference, interest, and even if you pass it today, it will come, it's better late than never, but I bet you it will be as good as dead on arrival, because all interest groups, all key investors have moved to better investment havens and destinations.
Well, it's a good. Let's now look at a simple practical example of how a deregulated regime can benefit citizens.
Simple. Let me give you an elementary definition of or explanation of how deregulation works. But when you generally talk about restructuring mechanisms of an economy and a set of sectors, a sector can either be deregulated, privatized, liberalized, or commercialized. They all work. But you have to look at the peculiarity of that sector within the national economy before you apply it. A very simple, elementary explanation of how deregulation works is this. Take water, bottled water. The price of bottled water in Nigeria is deregulated today. And that is why you can enter a hotel or a place, buy a bottled water at 2,000 naira. That same bottled water, you will go along the street and somebody is begging you to buy it at 70 naira. And Nigerians are not complaining. Why do you think they are not complaining? First, because you don't need to import water. Secondly, you have alternative ways of getting the same water to take care of your activities. You can get it from the borehole, you can get it from the river, you can get it from the well, you can get it from the water board. That is how deregulation works. We're not saying deregulation doesn't work, but you need to look at the peculiarity of the sector, and you're not importing. But in the case of petrol, what is happening is this. First of all, you are importing it. You are also a country with a weak currency, and that petrol tank or diesel tank, you cannot put ogogoro there. You cannot put palm oil there. You cannot put water there. So to that extent, and you are a country that is suffering from business climate hostilities. And as you are talking again, you have this raw material there. Then another question you will ask, if refining were to be a bad business, those countries that are refining and we go there to buy, are they fools?
Now, let me come in again. Refining. We've seen the Dangote Refinery, the biggest, according to whatever, 650,000 barrels per day. That's what we expect from that. And we've seen 1.5 billion US dollars being assigned to rehabilitate. It's not turnaround maintenance. Rehabilitating the Port Harcourt Refinery. How does that come to you?
Look, we were on the wrong track by going into importation. This crude oil swap, has it worked? And you're talking about a country of about 200 million citizens with those sectors I itemized from 1989 to now 2021, 32 years. You have not constructed one additional refinery and could not maintain the ones you inherited. Do you need anybody to tell you that you will run into energy crisis? Has the population not been increasing? This strategic, industrial, commercial, and domestic sectors, haven't they been increasing? So from that angle, you know that you are going to grind the economy of Nigeria to a rock and probably throw it into the valley. Then when you talk about the Dangote Refinery, well, Dangote is a one-man initiative, and I appreciate him, you understand? But one thing I will also tell you is this. It is shameful for national leaders to assign everything about their dexterities to the initiative of an individual, because those national leaders are the people that we have decided to hand over our economic, political, and social destiny into their care to manage. And that was why we elected them. You understand? But the way you have Dangote is an individual, is a citizen we are proud of. But one thing I keep saying, when you go to a place like the US, you can name the all the millionaires they have. Have you ever seen government officials of the United States visiting the facilities of those millionaires and saying those millionaires will bail them out of economic doldrums? No. What they do is they provide conducive environments so that those individual millionaires or technocrats or businessmen and SMEs will thrive. And what do these people, Nigerians, require? Energy. We don't have electricity, so we must still buy petrol and diesel. You said you have, some people are saying we have deregulated diesel and there is no problem. But all those people that are talking, they have forgot that go now and see most of those industries, they have collapsed because they cannot afford diesel. Many of we call them strategic industrial sector, those ones that are, why are they collapsing? Why are they folding? Because there is no electricity and they cannot afford diesel. So who said the deregulated diesel is not harming the economy?
Now, in 1 minute, what's your advice to government? What's your advice? Give them, what's your advice? What's your take? Where do we go from here to actually open up this
When
downstream?
you are on the wrong track, the simple thing is come back. The population of 200 million citizens having raw material is too huge for that population to depend on imports. So whatever it will cost, if we have been constructing one refinery in 6 years, in the last 30 years, we will have been having 5 refineries. Even if they are working at 10% capacity, collectively they will give us 60%. And let me tell you one dummy that was sold to Nigerians. And I feel sorry. Sometimes I feel like weeping for Nigeria. You know, at a point, we were ingrained with the feeling that modular refineries were going to bail us. Many people don't know that modular refineries don't even produce petrol, because they are not equipped with catalytic cracking units. So you begin to wonder, what kind of leaders really do we have? Don't they have conscience? And you now have people who are just trying to corner everything and have our national assets sold because they don't want this thing to work. So as far as I'm concerned, all the people that are after collapsing national assets can best be described as economic vampires, economic marauders, and traitors.
Mr. Bala Zaka there. Thank you very much. I know you can go on and on because I know that passion is there when it has to do with the oil and gas industry, but you know, television, this more time can take. Oil and gas analyst Mr. Bala Zaka has been talking so very much on his position on deregulation. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate this. We will definitely continue this discussion because we will monitor happenings in this very important sector.
No worries. Thank you, sir.
All right then.